Stock should be bought for $60, Congressman Daniel. Defeated, 3-1. He wanted to lower the price of stock. We have it right now at $100. He wanted to bring it down to 60, pardon me. I think the reason it chose 60 is because the $20 note is our basic currency. And if you get paid in 20s all the time, it's either 20 or 40 or 60 or 80. Those are the round numbers, so to speak, in our economy. Now, what I think the argument that decided it for someone changed their vote. I think it might have been Garrett. Garrett might have changed his vote. Cuman and Brandon were both stuck on the argument that if you lower the price to 60, it's only going to be worth 60 now. You see, Daniel thought, we'll lower the price to 60, we'll buy it for 60, and we'll have $100 worth of liquidity. But Brandon said, if you lower the price to 60, then when we sell it and buy it amongst ourselves as students, or when the bank takes it away from us because we're not doing our math or whatever there's a problem, it'll only be worth 60 if we pay 60. Lower the price of it. Brandon made an impassioned stand on this. Several times he said, listen, if you lower the price, and I recognize them for 2 minutes to speak maximum, they only use about a minute each time. He said, if you lower the price, then it won't be worth as much anymore. It was a tautology to Brandon, who's his younger brother, and Daniel probably never did grasp that. And it was defeated ultimately because Garrett, who liked the idea of being able to buy $100 stock for 60, and I made it clear to them everything would drop down. You're just lowering the price of stock entry. So they defeated that because Garrett sort of wanted to get on with it. But I think he realized, when he heard Brandon's argument several times, he realized it would be futile, it would be stupid. Lower the price to 60, then stock's not worth as much. It's only worth 60. So anyways, that was defeated. This was come up with by Daniel out of the blue, Next one by Congressman Garrett. We should have no story time every other week. So he wants us to spend 1 week doing story time, then a week without. Then for a week we do. He's against story time. He wants to reduce the amount of story time. This was defeated 3-1, and they didn't even argue it on the floor. Cuman immediately motioned to vote. Brandon seconded it, and Brandon, Daniel, and Cuman voted to keep story time. They like it. Oh, Congressman Daniel again. Oh, problem with that? Oh, I missed the O in his resolutions. Okay, there should be prices on, and I made him fix their auctions, and congressman on the bottom, where he signed it. But I didn't catch resolutions at the top. Anyways, there should be prices on the stuff in the auction box. Congressman Daniel. He wanted everything in the auction box to have relative pricing. And so I asked him, I said, before I open debate on the floor, I'd just like the Congressman to clarify one point. How would we decide who gets to buy it each day? Because right now we decide on who has the most money, and if they pay $800 or $200 or $50, it's up to them to decide what to choose, and they can decide it each day according to each auction. How is it that if we had prices on the stuff, how would we decide? And I'm not sure he grasped exactly what he was proposing, and maybe he'll think it over, his confusion in the matter, and I think what he wanted to say just was that we'll still do the auctions the same way, but we'd like to have a relative value of what the things in there cost. He wants it monetarily categorized. I think that's what he's trying to say. I didn't want to put it in his mouth because I don't think he would grasp it even if I did. I want him to fight with it and try to get to that realization. So it's an idea that everyone said a few things against, and they're like, it wouldn't do any good to have prices on it because it doesn't matter what the price was. We just pay what we pay in the auction. And Cuman was very upset. He said, I don't want to do away with the auctions. And Brandon said if they had prices on it, people would just come and buy everything. And they all thought this was disruptive. And Daniel ended up withdrawing his vote for his own bill in that case, and only Garrett wanted there to be prices. Okay, the next one. Oh, we're done with the defeated bills. Those are the defeated, and I wrote defeated, the vote, and the date. You know, congressional record, if you will. The next one is going to be the next one to the 4 bills that passed. These became law at the school. You'll be surprised if a few of the things. I mean, you've seen what I allowed them to debate. What did I allow them to actually do? What did I allow them to enact? And I, as the presiding judge, put before them a resolution. I suspended Caden, and he was suspended once before for hurting someone. Not serious injuries. But I want to make the point to the kid, you know. He was suspended before, and that was like the second or the third time he'd hurt someone. Finally suspended him. Now he's suspended again, and I just wanted to bring the point across to him really strongly. That can't happen. And I said, the next time you hurt someone that's not an accident, you're done at this school. I don't want you around here hurting my students. If you're a mean bully, you go to the other school. I don't want you here. And it happened today. He did it. And he said the reason he hurt Cuman, he went up to him, squeezed his arm, pushed his thumb into Cuman's arm like that for the fun of it, he said. And he immediately was taken home. And his mother wasn't available to say anything to. That's fine. And the policy at that point was he's done. He's out. He's out of the school. He keeps hurting people. Last time he hurt Tabitha. I think this sibling stuff goes on at home much more violently, but this is a school, and among the other things we do is we try to civilize the kid and stuff, but we also try to teach him. We try to teach him that physical violence is wrong. You cannot get away with it. It's not acceptable. So the kids all, I actually did a vote on it with the Congress. I put it before the floor. I said Caden has been expelled for the school until next year, and I wonder if you want to uphold that or speak against it. And several of them spoke in favor of the bill, in favor of keeping Caden out of the school. They said they wanted him to be out for weeks, 5, 6, 8, 15 weeks. Daniel proposed 6 months, I think, that he should be out. And I said that would go way into next fall, so we have to draw the line by next school year. We're going to let him back in. That's what I told him. And so they all voted eventually to do that. He's back in the fall. Then we did Congress for about an hour and a half. Then we went to lunch. Then we came back, and I proposed to them that Caden be let back on more lenient terms, because I was telling Bobby Sue, she says we shouldn't let the students decide his education. I said that they're the ones that get hurt by him. Why can't they decide it? You know, he's the biggest kid, he's the bully, and they're the ones who get hurt by him. So why shouldn't they decide? So I brought it before them again, and I said for reconsideration before the House, I'd like to consider the idea that possibly Caden could be allowed back on more lenient terms. Possibly be allowed back on Monday, or maybe a week after Monday, you know, 7, 8 days out of actual school, whatever. And we reconsidered. They each gave speeches on why they thought it would be good to have Caden here because of some of the legislation we passed. To be fun to have him here for. And Cuman said because it's kind of sad to think of him going back to the other school. He felt empathy for him and expressed that to the others. Ultimately, they passed, therefore, 4-0. Everyone was in favor of having Caden back at the school come Monday morning. So his suspension will last for a few days. And they're the ones who get hurt by it. Cuman gave the most passionate speech, and he was the one who was aggrieved at the arm pinching situation. So be it. Let him come back. In spite of the fact that I'd suspended him, we'll bring him back after just a 3-day suspension instead of permanent. And they decided that. Let's hear about the other things they decided. That was the heftiest, and I only let them debate and decide that after much practice with the method. A lot of these bills were debated and decided before we tackled the question with Kate. Sad that he wasn't here for it, you know. Okay. The next one by Congressman Cuman. He says, resolution, we should have a drink stand, and by